ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar my dear friends. This video is about the peace prevailing everywhere, and this video is about our great Vedanta sage HWL Poonja's ideas about peace, that is internal peace. Let there be peace and love among all beings of the universe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. When you are vigilant, watchful, there is no mind. Simply keep watchful. Poonja Sahab says, it is important to speak about notion because whatever is created and whatever is seen is just a notion. Don't be surprised. For example, you may have a very tiny seed in the palm of your hand. It may be a mustard seed, a banyan seed, or a sesame seed. You take a banyan seed in the palm of your hand, and what do you see in it? A huge tree with a grand trunk, branches, flowers, millions of fruit, and again billions and trillions of seeds in it, all that in a tiny seed. So I'm comparing this with notion. This seed, when it comes into contact with the soil, sprouts and becomes a tree. Likewise, a notion will sprout when it touches consciousness. The notion has now sprouted like this: universe, time, space, all that you see, past, present, future, man, animals, mountains, rivers, forests. It is a tiny seed-like notion. When consciousness touches this notion, it sprouts and gives rise to the mind. So all this becomes a notion. All these diverse objects which appear springs from the single notion that I suffer, I am happy, I am bound, I want to be free. All these are just notions. A sage is free from any notion because he knows that all this is just a notion. But others who have yet to be enlightened are not free from notions. Therefore, they think that they are bound, that they are suffering, and that they have to get enlightened somehow later on. So, how to be free from all notions? Notion is just a thought. You own thought. Now this thought must rise from somewhere. As a seed touches the soil, sprouts and becomes a tree, likewise a notion touches consciousness, sprouts and becomes a mind. Without soil, a tree could not sprout. In the same manner, without consciousness as a substratum, mind could not arise. Where could the mind stand unless it has some soil, some foundation, some stratum? So those who know the substratum and the rise of the mind will never suffer. And those who will begin from the sprout, from the notion itself, and look at the branches, the fruit, the flowers, and the sufferings, the happiness, and the joys of life, they will endlessly suffer because They do not know the substratum of all this. Thought is the substratum, thought is the mind, mind is time, simultaneous space, past. How does it rise? It rises, or rather, it appears to rise, although it is not true. If it rises or not, if it is created or not, both are simultaneously seen as you see in a mirage in the desert. You see a running river in the desert in the sands. River is running, it can be said it exists, and it also can be said to not exist. Both are true. It looks like a river and people go running to have a swim in it because it looks like a real river, and it is also true that it does not exist because it is just sand. There is no river at all, so both are simultaneous true. So call this samsara, call this world. It exists like a mirage, and we can also say that it does not exist. These truths are simultaneously real if you take it this way, then it is also true. Say that all this is not real. It is real is also true. Like the mirage and like the seed, it is real because it sprouted from consciousness. But as a notion, it is not true. Ego arises from a notion, ego of observer, observation and observed. Here the trouble starts, you see, but for the sage this trouble is not there. His observer, observation and observed are the same. Therefore he is happy. And the one who is not happy, who has yet to be awakened, he thinks, I am the observer and this object of observation gives me happiness which I experience. He is surely in trouble. He has to get rid of his own notions somehow, either by sitting with a saint or through investigating with his own discrimination, discernment. So now there appear to be two things, you see. How to get rid of this ego that brings us diversity. In one there is no diversity, yet in the other diversity and unity appear the same. Like that of the river in the desert appears real, but it is also not real. The basis, the substratum of all these diversities, dualities are like the waves in the ocean being none different from their substance, water. So let there be multiplicity of waves which cannot lose their oneness from the water. Even if diversity appears, people may look different, have different views, have different shapes, different forms, but the essence is one, and that essence is the same in all beings and non beings. If you are aware of this, then you are free, happy, and eternally blissful because bliss comes when you are ever aware of consciousness. There is no difference between bliss and consciousness. Diversity implies suffering, but if you know that the origin of all diversity is consciousness, even then you won't have any problem. You must arrive, you must reach that underlying ground. You must understand that the underlying essence of everything is consciousness. When you look at people, when you look at mountains, when you look at a river, when you look at your own body, you must be conscious. You are conscious. In the waking state, you are conscious of all the objects and you are conscious of your activities with them. When you dream, you are also conscious of subtle activities and your subtle relationships in the dream. You are quite aware of the subject with all the objects and you experience the dual sense of objectivity and subjectivity. You are conscious of all this, so the basis of all this activity is consciousness. Even in deep sleep, you are also conscious because you say, I slept, or I had a very peaceful, sound sleep. You are conscious, so all these three states are projected from consciousness. All these things are afloat within consciousness, and you are that consciousness. Even in transcending these three states, in the fourth transcendental state, you are still that. And beyond the fourth state, beyond the Turiya state, no one knows. It is not known to anyone because it is the very depth of consciousness. You see, even the word consciousness is not found there. No words, no experience, no I, you, he, or she ever exist there. This is your true nature. This is the truth. This is the ultimate understanding. And this is always eternally present here and now. It is present itself. It is presence itself. It is presence itself. It is never absent at any time, and that which is never absent is called truth, freedom, wisdom. Whatever is true must always exist here, now, and everywhere, and must be omniscient and omnipresent. Omniscience and omnipresence is that which you are. Now you have to playfully live along with and enjoy all these waves with different form. This is your happiness. Question: when I am in meditation, when I am quiet, there is nobody else, I am alone and at peace. Papaji: yes, you are alone here. Okay. Question: but when I see everybody here, I get confused. It is all just consciousness. Papaji: what is the confusion? How is your aloneness disturbed? All the moment you are quiet at that time, do you feel that you are living with a body or not? Question: there is no body, only consciousness, and I am not suffering. Papaji: only consciousness. Okay, now what is that arises from within consciousness and disturbs you? First, you went from outside into consciousness because you were unhappy. You were suffering. You were not quiet and wanted to keep quiet. Question: yes, that is true, Papaji. You were not quiet. You did not like quietness, and somehow you entered into quietness. So, suffering ended when you entered quietness, peace. Now, how did you disturb this peace? Now you tell me. Question: I began to think. Papaji: okay, you think within the peace. Let us say you are in the middle of an ocean and your head is present underwater. What do you think about in the water? Question: I want to be free. Papaji: free from what? Question: I would like to get out. Papaji: when you get out, what happens? You are in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean. In the same way, you say you are in the peace. And this peace has no limitations. Peace has no limitation, no demarcation, no north, south, east, and west. Now you want to be disturbed. How can you disturb yourself? You have to jump out of peace to be disturbed. Take a single step out of peace and tell me that I am disturbed now. Go out of peace somehow, push peace away, and then tell me, now I am not at peace. Who will not like peace? And if you are out of peace, then what else have you given preference to which is better than Peace more beautiful than peace. Question. Nothing. Papaji. Then question. I know I must go for peace. Papaji. Yes. Then how could you reject it and for what? Question. I think it is an old habit that I make all the time. I reject it and Papaji, no, no, you have to decide one thing. I don't want peace. That's all you decide then. Question, no, I want peace. Papaji, okay, if you want peace, you are in peace. If you don't want peace, you are never in peace. I am not in peace is just a notion. You can never be in peace if you think like this. That's all. There are only two things you see. You must decide what you want. This is your decision. It is only your notion. Only a few people have understood that I am not peace. Is just a notion and not a good notion. Therefore, you are here. So, what do you decide here? Question. Yes, I can feel it. Sometimes I have this notion, and then sometimes I like to I like to go to peace. But Papaji, even then there is no problem. You say, sometimes I am in peace and sometimes I am not in peace. There is no problem even then. This samsara is in front of you and you want to make a permanent abode in it. This is the problem that is troublesome. That's what you want. That can never happen, you see. For example, you are waiting for your connecting flight in transit lounge of an airport. The transit lounge is very comfortable and they announce that your flight is ready for boarding and you say no, no, I want to remain here. It is much better here. You will What will happen? Can you stay there? Question. No, Papaji. No, you will never be allowed to stay there. Now, this samsara is a transit lounge. Everyone is waiting for his flight. There are many announcements being made, and everyone is waiting. If you make friends with other people in the lounge who have all got different flights, then it is only going to make you sad at the time when one of you have to fly away. You will suffer. Your flight number will come and you will fly away. The lounge will always be full of different people, so this world is a transit lounge. Nobody has ever stayed here permanently. Different faces appear all the time. So this samsara can never be peaceful because everything is constant changing. Question. So peace is somewhere else, Papaji. Peace is always everywhere, but you mistake it. When you attribute this peace to a very particular place, you will be troubled. This particularly, this particularity troubles you. Peace is everywhere. Beauty is everywhere. Love is everywhere. Consciousness is everywhere. Go wherever you want to go. First of all, why did you put a demarcation between peace and suffering? What makes you suffer? Why are you looking for peace at all? Question. I can feel it is the only way I must win peace. I need peace. Papaji, I say, you are peace simply. If you know this, then you know the truth. Then you can do whatever you feel. That's all. You are consciousness, you are everything and everywhere. In the deep sleep state, there are no forms, no names, no subjects, and no objects whatever. You don't see any mountain, any man, animals, or birds. You don't even see your own body. There is no trouble within the sleep state. Why don't you bring the sleep state into the next waking state? In the sleep state, you are very happy. Now you are slowly entering into the next waking state. Call it 6 am. Now, at what time do you reject this happy state of sleep? At what time and why? Question. 6 am and 1 second when the thought comes in. Papaji, yes. So this thought was a notion which was already there. previous to the sleeping state. Before sleeping, you say, I have to get up at 6 a.m. So, this notion, which was breathed latently into your unconscious mind, wakes you up. If the last thought of the last waking state is, I am free, I am happy, I am bliss, and I am consciousness, then the first thought of the next waking state will also be I am consciousness. In the next waking state, who will wake up? Tell me. Question. Consciousness, Papaji, consciousness. You slept within consciousness and you are going to wake up within consciousness. Now, in the sleep state, try not to descend, but rather try to ascend. From the sleep state, your intention must be to ascend because you are always happy in sleep state. No, you say, I slept happily. So, your next sleep state must transport you to a higher state, not a lower state, and that is called the fourth state. Question. Who is there to realize that in deep sleep? Papaji, the one who will not wake up in the next waking state and who goes to the fourth state. Question. This is also a notion then, Papaji. Yes. Question. When I first heard your teaching about freedom, I knew in my heart that these teachings were truth itself and that my going from teacher to teacher was finished. Will you remove the veil of my mind so that I know beyond intellectual understanding who I really am? Papaji. So until now it has only been an intellectual understanding from teacher to teacher. Now you ask who am I really? Intellect is always very deceptive when you try to understand something. To know yourself, you do not need any intellect. You do not need anything. To know yourself, there is nothing to understand. You have not to practice anything because freedom is always here. The self is already here and now. Freedom, if not here, then where could it be possible? If not now, then when? Freedom is stronger than the mind. It is here and now. If you cannot attain it now and here, then when and where will you attain it? So, your question, I really want to know who am I, is not it? This question pertains to the truth itself. Who am I pertains to that truth. Reality, light, wisdom, beauty, peace, which is here and now. You have not to practice anything or join any institute to learn it. You just have to get rid of the notion that I am not reality. That's all. You are reality, but you have been denying your true nature for ages, taking yourself to be the body, mind, intellect, and senses has concealed your true nature. The truth remained concealed and there sprouted ego. When you say I am to you, it means I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the senses. So somehow you have to do away with these false notions. That which remains is the truth and can never be lost. It is always present with you, always that you are. In this instant, you realize the self is not thinking, and by not making any kind of effort, devote this instant to yourself to be free whenever possible. Whenever possible, during this lifespan, at least devote one single instant to your own self to be true. Here, now, today, keep quiet, don't think, no time, no effort. Do you follow? Question, I follow, Papaji. If you have, then all tell what you are feeling. Question, I am totally happy, Papaji. Keep quiet, don't think, and just turn your face towards your own self. Don't make any effort, and in this finger snap, in this blink of an eye, in this no time instant, tell me what you feel. Tell me who you are and where you are. Question. Silence. Papaji, here your Question is answered. You have finished your work. You have finished your journey. Question. Thank you. Papaji, this is not a teacher because I am giving you nothing to do. You only have to look within your own self, which is not absent, which is never absent. It was only concealed by you, by your desire for something that was not eternal. That's all. Eternity is here, peace is here. You have been hankering after things that have deceived you for millions of years. No, sons. So now is the time. Don't hesitate. If there is still any trouble and you want some help, some forward, don't run away. Please ask question. It feels like my mind wants to know, but it just cannot. It feels like my mind wants to come in and do something. Papaji, you are vigilant, watchful, you are watching. The mind is now coming in because for a million years you have been letting it just enter without asking. Now you are looking at the thief. Just watch this intruder, the trespassing mind. Question. When I look at it, then it stops. Papaji, yes, yes. That's all. When you look at it, it vanishes. You have never looked before at any time in your life. So this is how to take care of the mind. When you look at it, it disappears. Question. Why does it disappear? Papaji, because it is nothing. When you don't look at it, when you are not watching, then only it becomes a mind. When you don't look at this process, it becomes a mind. And when you are vigilant, watchful, there is no mind. For this reason, I say simply keep watchful. Invite the mind, come in, you are allowed, and it will not come because there is no mind. The same mind has now disappeared into the source. Watchfulness, vigilance is the source. When you are not watchful, the samsara appears before you. When you are not watchful, the mischievous mind appears. But when you are watchful, there is no mind. No mind is consciousness. That is the simplest way to be happy. When you are watchful, there is no mind. Simply keep quiet. Don't make any effort and don't think. Thinking means mind and mind means past. Mind is always from the past. In the present, you have no relationship with mind. In the present, there are no friends to make between no thinking and no effort. You have not made any friends, is not it? And all the old friendship you have had in the past have gone now. Old friendships means suffering. Everybody has suffered with old friends. No, you must have friend. You must befriend someone who remains with you at all times and who will never divorce you. Loving, eternally loving. That's very wise friendship, is not it? Don't be friends with anything that changes. If you want to make a true friend, go towards someone who will not run away from you. There is only one friend that is not going to run away from you. Find out who it is. Question. I see now that I have been attempting to deal with suffering in some ways, to escape it, to heal it, to lessen it, to do something about it. And suffering is not the problem, the sufferer is the problem. Papaji, yes, yes. You can't avoid this suffering unless you know yourself. Yourself does not suffer at all. Self is fearless. Fear belongs to past. Fear is always from the past. Fear is only in the mind and mind is past. I is past. Find out who is here now. In this very instant, you have no fear. In the night, when you say, now I will sleep, you enter in the present moment. You do away with the past moments of the day. At that instant, you don't have fear. You remove the fear from the waking day. Nobody can sleep when there is fear in the mind. Fear and sleep don't go together. When you say, okay, it is now 1 pm, good night, this good night is without fear. If you want to be fearless, know you yourself now. What is present right now that you have to see forever. When you say, I am free of time, free of space, free of thought, that is present. I am free is present, and all the rest is past, including the body. Whatever get old must be from the past. Question. Please, Master, can you help me to abide always in this stillness? Papaji, very good question. It can only be done if the mind is kept empty. If a thought enters the mind, it disturbs the emptiness, remove the mind. That's all. Then the inside emptiness will be disturbed. Question. Yes, Papaji. And outside this is emptiness too. It is all just nothing, nothing. So this is also all emptiness. You you gain nothing. Inner emptiness and outer emptiness are the same, but the mind creates a difference. The mind says that this inner emptiness is better than the outer emptiness. It is like saying that the air inside this room is better than the air outside. The trouble comes with name and form. Mind is only name and form. So when the concept of name and form goes, then the everything is seen as one emptiness. Any object, any activity in the world is the emptiness. Then there is no problem. Now find out what this name and form is. Question the ego. Papaji, this ego is just name and form. Saying that I am so and so creates a division. When you say I am not at peace in the activity of daily life, this is due to ego. So the concept I am so and so has to be removed. Then all this will be seen as undivided, full flowing consciousness. Consciousness is here. You need not work to attain it. Now we are here in this hall, and when we leave it will be empty again, just as it was before we all entered. At this moment emptiness is full of boys and girls, is not it? But this emptiness is not explaining and saying please go out and I am suffocating. Emptiness does not complain and is unconcerned whether you go away or stay. Emptiness is emptiness. Consciousness is consciousness. The trouble is with you saying, I am so and so. Simply remove this, I am so and move freely within consciousness. Then everybody will salute you wherever you go. Whatever work is done will be beautiful work because you are not the doer. So long as doership is there, the trouble arises. I am not the doer. Then consciousness does not create any difference. Whether you are working or meditating, no difference. So somehow doership has to vanish from the scene. Consciousness cannot be tainted, and this is all your projection, this samsara. The whole routine of work is your projection. I am doing. You are always still. You have never done any work. You get the work done by your body, by your limbs. Move, movement of your hands, feet, eyes, whatever it is. These are all moved and you call it activity. My hand is holding the glass. Movement, hand is moving. Who is giving energy to the hand to hold the glass? Go back now and tell me. Go to the reservoir of energy that sends a message to the hand. Pick up the glass. Do this work. Do that work. When you look at it, it will not complain. It is absolutely immaculate and no doership. It gets work done through everybody. It commands the sun to rise and shine and the oceans and winds to move. But it is without any work, so serene, so peaceful, so that you must identify yourself with. You are that peacefulness. You see not the activity. You must identify yourself with the energy, the source, the basis, the ground or the soil of the energy that works through the limbs, through all the bodies. It is only the bodies that perform activities. The source, the energy does nothing. Whether wherever there is consciousness, there must be this energy to manifest this samsara without losing its own peace. And you are that. If you know this, if you understand this, then you are always at peace and you will never complain. There is no difference between this and that. There is no differentiation at all. You have done nothing. It is not your activity. Something made everything active, but you identify yourself with the body and say, I am active now, so that I must look always towards its source from where this energy is coming. Looking toward the source destroy the I am the doer notion. Then ego will no longer trouble you. This is what is called freedom. Question: what is the self, Papaji? When you ask what is this, I must show you an object and then you are satisfied. But when you ask what is the self, it is not an object of sight that could be presented to you. It is something which cannot be seen, cannot be smelled, cannot be touched, cannot be heard, cannot be tasted, and cannot be imagined by the mind. Now you tell me what is left. Earth can be seen, water can be seen, fire can be seen, and you can feel the movement of air. That which is left is called Akash or emptiness. Can you see emptiness in what do all these four elements appear in emptiness? You are there and I am here. And there is something in between us, call it space or emptiness. Can you see it? That which surrounds you and through which you can see is called emptiness, is called self. This glass can be seen only because it is surrounded by something which cannot be seen. So, anything that can be seen must be within something which cannot be seen. That is God. The question what is the self arises from that. Now before the question arises what was there, everything arises from something which is not known, which is empty. Anything that comes from emptiness. Turn towards this emptiness and go on dissolving within it. Don't touch any of the four elements and tell me what is there. Question: I see nothing, Papaji. In this nothingness, is there someone who says, I see nothing? You have to find out who is witnessing nothingness. This is very important. Go deeper and see who is the witness of nothingness. There is water in the river, and water is asking the river, who are you? Like this, you ask nothingness, who are you? Question: the water is part of the river, Papaji. Yes. Therefore give up the name. Names belong to object. Don't utter the name and you will see the answer to your question will come to you. Water and river are only names. Self has no name and no form. When you don't use name and form, what do you see? Don't seek the name and form of the self and then tell me what it is. Question: it feels very large and is beyond words. Papaji, it is beyond all words, beyond all imagination, and beyond all forms. It is very easy to fall into formlessness. To go to the Himalayas from here, you have to travel 500 miles. The Himalayas has a name and form, and to see the Himalayas, you have to make some effort. But when I tell you, see something which has no name and form, you should this. Why should this be difficult? You are not to think and not to make any effort in order to find the answer. Thinking is strenuous, so don't think. You have not to go anywhere, so no effort is required. No effort, no nothing, no name and form. What could be easier than this. The eyes can see many things, but an eye cannot see itself. Why not? I can see you, but I cannot see my own eye. Why not? Because it is very close to me and so it need not be seen. That which is very close to you cannot be seen. That which is very near to you, you need not make any effort nor travel a certain distance to reach it. And it does not take any time because it is already here. So you need not move anywhere nor see anything. So, what is that? It is beyond imagination. So, don't even make any effort to think. You'll find it when you don't think. The answer will come by itself. Peace is already here. Everybody lives in the past, and that is why they are in trouble. There is no time within the self, and that's why it is peaceful. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Everything else is just your imagination, like a mirage. You go into a hot desert and you see a river flowing in the distance. You run towards it too because you are thirsty and need to cool down. When will you arrive to the river? The water in the mirage is just imagined. Yet everybody is running towards this river to quench their thirst. And what is this river? I want to enjoy this and I want to enjoy that. Name and form itself is a mirage. If you touch any name, any form, it is going to bite you because it is not eternal. It is not eternal. Wherever there is a name and a form, there is going to be trouble. Every night when you go to sleep, you reject all names and forms and you are in peace. Names and forms are a mirage and you cannot be happy with them. So when you do not touch name and form, you are peace itself. It is only your imagination that makes you think that there is something worthy to be attained. You imagine that you have to do something, that you have to become wise and enlightened within this lifespan. Take this thought and place it in your heart. Then you will see that peace, that freedom within your heart. When you don't hold anything in your mind, you are free. Like when you sleep, you have nothing in the mind. When you sleep, everything returns to the heart and you are happy. Everything returns to the heart and then vanishes. All intentions disappear. When you look into your heart, and you will see that you are the self and nothing else. Falling in love with the self is very wonderful. Having known the self, you have known everything. The past is stronger The past is stronger than the present in the mind because you cannot see the present. Everybody speaks to you of the past. Do you find anyone among your friends and relations who is speaking of the present? Everyone speaks to you of the past. Therefore, it has become very strong. You will have to seek out the company of those who speak to you of the present moment. Then this will become much stronger and you will shun the company of the past. To get rid of the past, keep company with those who are trying to live in or who have tasted this moment of present, who are speaking about the present life. Satsang means association with those who live in truth. Here, everyone is speaking every day of this present moment of peace and love and happiness. You have to be very strong and tight fisted with your decision not to be led away by those friends who trouble you. Shun their company even if they are related to you. Nobody can trouble you if you decide to be free. You have to make a firm decision when nothing can trouble you. If you are weak, everybody will trouble you. But if you simply keep quiet, I don't think any thought can come. Simply decide to sit quiet, then nothing can touch you. Until now, it is only that your decision has been weak. So I conclude this video at this point. Please like, comment and share the video, subscribe the channel. Namaskar my dear friends, thank you, namaste.